The coaches have been great, kids have been great, and making the best of it.
Absolutely. What's the so I think everybody knows that I remember talking to your football coach. Friday's the first football game, but a lot of action before that, right? You guys get right into it tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow is our first home game of the year, and that's with our boys soccer team. We're hosting Masco. Girls are traveling to Masco tomorrow at the same time, and our cross-country team is hosting Masco tomorrow. I'm sorry, hosting Ipswich and Georgetown in a cross-country meet tomorrow.
Okay.
Then on Thursday, field hockey is also in action versus Masco, and then football on Friday. But tomorrow we also have golf and volleyball.
Wow.
So everybody's in action in the next 48 hours.
It is a busy first week, and I talked to your a few of your coaches already here. I get it seems like you have a nice group of coaches. Is it always like this, where they all seem to kind of get along and genuinely like you? It seems to be a good group of coaches.
Well, I'm very blessed to have a staff, to inherit a staff, and then to be able to hire some great people. You appreciate it more when you're other places, and because I've come from other places, it's not like this everywhere. They're competent, they enjoy kids, they're in it for the right reasons. We're really lucky to have our coaches that we have here in Newburyport, especially our fall coaches. Many of them are teachers right now, and the fall anyway, there's a lot of optimism, start of a new school year, but we have 466 kids out right now.
Wow.
So 60% of our student body at the high school is participating in a fall sport, and if you came around to practices, our new principal and new superintendent are amazed with the number of kids that we have participating.
Yeah, that is an amazing number, and so turnout has been good. I wonder what ended up being the turnout on the football side, because you hear nationwide. I know that the numbers were down, but I noticed you said they're down across the country, but you're very happy with the turnout for football. You thought you got some great numbers.
Football's growing for us again. We have 2 low classes in a row, and when you have 2 classes in a row go through the system, then it shows.
Yeah.
Our freshman and sophomore groups are strong now, so we're at about 38, 10 through 12, so that's enough to support a varsity and JV team.
That's good.
And we're at 18 freshmen. So if we can stay between 15 and 20 per class, that would be ideal. If our 10 through 12 can get up into the mid-40s, that would help kids not have to play both ways and on special teams, and one injury turns into 3 losses. Basically.
Gotcha. And of course, you can listen to the football games right here Friday night. I know Richie Eaton will do the game with Wynn Damon. Clipper football doesn't get any better than that on a Friday night when you're driving around or doing whatever. If you can't be at the game, of course, that's always the first priority. Try to get to the game. But what's the Cinderella story this year? The team that maybe somebody's not expecting, maybe have had a couple rebuilding years, but what's the team that you're looking for that is ready to kind of peak, you think?
Well, really, it's tough to say because our fall teams have been very successful.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a division champion last year. We had 3 Cal champions. We had a North champion in the fall. Everybody made the playoffs. So it's really been, it was a strong performance-wise. But if I have to pick one team, I have to pick volleyball.
Okay.
Mainly because they are a second-year program, and they're no longer a club. I mean, they don't treat themselves like a club. The coach doesn't coach like it's a club team. They won their last match of the year last year, so we joke that they're on a 1-game winning streak.
A lot of momentum
when
coming in.
Most of the other sports had lost, unless they won the championship or Thanksgiving game. So our numbers, we have 4 teams. We have a varsity, a JV, and then 2 other developmental teams. So numbers are high. If people haven't had a chance to watch a high school volleyball game,
exciting.
They would be surprised at the level of athleticism and the quickness, and it's one of our bigger drawing sports. And Lori Salazzo has done a great job not only promoting the sport and getting the athletes out, but also bringing us to a new level. So I was stopped by their practice the other day, and I was amazed at what they were doing compared to what they were doing last year at this time.
Yeah, a lot of progress. Again, we're joined here by Kyle Hodsdon. He's the athletic director over at Newburyport. As the fall sports kick into gear really this week, we got game action this week, so very exciting. I've mentioned this on the show a couple times, Kyle. My niece actually plays volleyball over at Danvers, and it's amazing to me the huge numbers they have on some of these teams. That seems to be a sport that is growing like crazy. And I wonder, when you're talking about Newburyport, I love that story story of how you guys started your team. You literally had a couple girls walk into your office and kind of pitch to you, we would love to have a volleyball team, and you listened, and here you are a couple of years later, right?
Yeah, Megan Foley, who we had on the show last year.
Yep, she was great.
Many great things for our community and our volleyball team. You know, she came in with an idea, like some kids do, but ideas, you know, sometimes just end up being an idea and they don't actually follow through. But Megan, she had sign-ups, and we started as a club team 2 years ago, and they were successful, and our numbers continued to climb, and here we are.
What were those numbers there, that first tryout? Because you were surprised by that even, right? How many people you had come out?
Yeah, we were in the 40s the first year.
That seems huge to me.
It is, considering you play 6 people on the floor. Think of it like basketball,
right,
where you have, you know, 5 or 6 people on the floor at a time, and you only sub so many people. So really a team consists of 10 to 12 players.
Right.
But since we're growing, we don't want to have to cut anybody. So we're trying to have as many teams as we can. But when we first started, it was just a step above like a PE volleyball, and it was a club, and it was a lot of fun, and it was recreational.
Yeah.
If you go in now, the sneakers are squeaking and bodies are on the floor, and there's a lot of communication. It's loud, and the intensity is higher.
Yep.
And the kids are going to camp. Kids are playing on elite teams, you know, out of season club teams.
Yep.
And it's really exciting. And we get great crowds for it. It's similar to going to a basketball game in the winter. The crowds that we get.
Yeah, it is. It's an exciting sport to watch.
It is. Yeah.
It's a lot of literally back and forth action, right? So the volleyball team's in good shape from your point of view. What is it as far as the heat goes? I mean, have you guys you trying to do some night practices? I think I had some of the track guys in. They were talking about they'd been doing some morning stuff even. It's going to be a little bit hard. I'm wondering, you got that beautiful new field with the turf and everything. My first thought though is that thing must get hot. Don't those turf fields get extra hot?
They do, but luckily we don't have a crumb rubber based field. We don't have the black pellets.
Oh, okay.
Which is crumb rubber. It's a sand base and Virofill.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't heat up as much as the black crumb rubber would. But on one of the warm days last week, the temperature on the turf was 132 at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Wow.
So it does get hot.
Yeah.
But you know, you're surrounded by the concrete, the building, brick, that whole area.
Is that your job to monitor that? Are you out there taking the temperature?
I'm one of the team that does that. Our athletic trainer really takes the lead.
Yeah.
And she monitors the heat index.
How do you do that? How do you take the temperature of a field?
Just with an instrument that you can point at something, and
okay.
it tells us what it is.
It's as simple as that. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And you know, so she monitors. She makes some modifications, and she makes suggestions. What we did was we didn't practice. Nothing started before 5 o'clock.
Gotcha.
Some teams went under the lights. Some teams went without pads. Football. Some teams had meetings. Some teams gave out uniforms. So it was very productive. And we tried to be proactive and come up with a plan before things were just shut down and canceled. We had water stations and ice towels, and so Brianna Ferrulo, our athletic trainer, new athletic trainer this year, has done a fantastic job.
Yeah, people are raving about her. Actually, I think every coach I've had in has found a way to name drop her.
Yeah, she's great. She actually started with us last spring as a contracted employee, and then this year we hired her ourselves, and she's all in, and she's just putting in a ton of hours and getting not just treating the athletes on the field, but getting them back on the playing field or on the court quickly. So the coaches appreciate that, and she's not an automatic. You're injured, you're out for 2 weeks. She wants the athletes back out there quickly. So the athletes appreciate going.
I bet they do. What is the toughest? Is there like a new rule this year or something that's making life on an athletic director tough here? Is there any hiccup in 2018? I mean, what are you? Year 4, 5?
This is 4 here.
This is 4 for you. It's going quickly here. You want to become one of the veterans.
It is. Yes. They no longer refer to me as the new athlete.
The new guy.
Yeah, but some still will. You know, it's minor rules. We have a few sports that are going from NCAA rules like football,
okay,
to NFHS, National Federation High School. You know, one of the ones that are getting the soccer people uptight is the change in the uniform color.
Oh, I haven't heard about this. What do we got?
We're now wearing dark at home instead of white.
Oh,
so
that's different.
It doesn't change much for me or for many, but that's a big change.
It's kind of like the football thing. The football guys used to do that, right? Used to have the dark color was
football
always the
still
home.
Does. It's dark at home, and soccer nationally has gone to that. So really that's the only
Okay.
The only significant change.
Is this the athletic director shirt of 2018? This is a good one here. I like this.
This was one of the originals.
One of the originals.
So it's time to upgrade. Yes.
I don't know. I like that one. I think that's a good. I like the old school look on that one there. And look at that. We have the regular cameras back. So good job by the crew on the backup plan there to make sure we stayed on here. Again, we're joined by Kyle Hodsdon, Newburyport athletic director here on Joppa Radio. It's Afternoon Drive. My name is Drew Moholland. Talking about the fall sports season and what's it like for the athletic director here? I'm sure you want to, I'm sure you want some wins too, but what's the kind of the key to get off on the right foot? I mean, it's the first sports season of the year. You got a bunch of teams going at it here, first games. What's the goal of an athletic director? Is it to go out there and get some wins early on, or I don't know, is it to stay healthy? What's the early on goal for the AD?
Well, I think I think staying healthy and having success on the field go hand in hand. But we just like to be organized. We like to do things with a purpose. Right from day one, all the organizational things that go with preseason and paperwork and meetings and start of school and handing out uniforms and like we just want to start the games. That's why tomorrow's such a big day.
Right.
All that stuff is pretty much done. And so our goal is to get to that first day, to get past everything else, have everybody healthy. Football made it through their 2 scrimmages with everybody healthy, so that was a goal.
Yeah.
We've almost made it through this heat. We're going to get through today, and then things are going to get back to normal. So, it's been a little more hectic this year. My former assistant, Pat McBride, retired in August, and Pat has been a staple at Newburyport High School, and she's really deeply missed. She's done a lot of great things, worked real hard for our kids and for our school, and
always picked up the phone when I called.
And she's she's involved with taking tickets as well and keeping the lacrosse score clock, and so she's no longer with us. And Kathy Cutter has moved from another position within our school building, and she's going to be fantastic. But it's a little bit of a learning curve because it's all new to her. So she's kind of revamping how things are going, and so we're continuing to move in the right direction on all aspects, and like I said, we're just looking forward to the first game.
Absolutely. Again, Kyle Hodgson here is the Newburyport athletic director, and you guys have been. The kids came back. They've been back for a week now. You guys were pre-Labor Day school, right?
Yeah, the students started last.
Is that an advantage getting the kids back in before Labor Day from a sports perspective? I know I used to hate the idea of going back before Labor Day. I was more of a let's have the Labor Day, call summer an end, and then go back to school. But it must be kind of an advantage to get everybody back in.
Well, I would say probably the opposite. Because now our practice is restricted. So we had a Thursday for all sports besides football. We had Thursday, Friday of more flexibility with practice times, double sessions, whatever.
Yeah.
Then we had the weekend, and then teachers came back on Monday, kids on Tuesday. So really it was a 2-day preseason.
Gotcha.
When you look at states like Maine and New Hampshire, who start earlier, their coaches have more flexibility to practice earlier in the morning, practice later at night, practice midday, have double sessions. In fact, in Maine, our uniforms would be handed out, and team pictures would be taken prior to school starting.
Oh, wow.
So it's something people don't realize what a headache team pictures are trying to fit that in, but we were able to do that. So I think if you asked every one of our coaches, they would rather go to school, after Thanksgiving if they could, and have as much preseason prep time and flexibility as they could have.
That's interesting. Rivalries in this league are amazing across the board. Obviously, you get the football ones. Football, you guys have several rivalries. You obviously have the Tritons of the world. You get the Amesbury Thanksgiving game, and it seems like almost every Cape Ann League game for a lot of your sports is some sort of built-in rivalry. There's some sort of history there. I guess that's probably what makes this league so special, the Cape Ann League, right? Is that history.
Yeah, we kind of border so many different towns, so it's easy to be a rival.
Yeah.
And one of the towns that we border used to come to school with us 30 or so years ago.
Yeah, Triton.
And then others are close. So the proximity of our league makes it easy to have rivalries. But, we really take pride, obviously, in the Triton, the Amesbury, the Pentucket, the Ipswich, the people who are really close by. And, not that that's the ultimate goal of our coaches each season, but as you're going through playing your schedule, you want to take care of your rivals. You want to take care of the league. They have bigger goals as well, but that's an important goal.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about this at our rally the other day. Football beat Pentucket, they beat Triton, they beat Amesbury on Thanksgiving Day. So that was a successful regular season. Yeah, then they won a playoff game. Then they won, another non-playoff game against a playoff team.
Yep.
So it was a very successful year. And sometimes we have a target on our back with some of our teams because of the success that we've had.
Right.
So we usually get the best from the others when we play them.
Yep.
And when we host games in our facility, in our stadium, it's as nice as it gets.
Yeah.
It's truly a stadium, and it has that feel, and our athletes feel honored to be playing there, and I think others like coming and playing there as well.
And I know you'll be packing that place out Friday night, I'm sure, with a lot of the student body, right? Expecting a big crowd?
We hope so.
Yeah.
We had a rally on the football field in the stands last Friday.
Okay.
And it was.
I saw the pictures of that. Did you put those on Twitter? I think
we did.
Yeah.
Yes, and so we had 800 students out there, and it filled up 2.5 sections. Now normally our student section's about 1, because we have people playing as well and doing other things. So we'd like to expand that. Our students have been very passionate and supportive over at least since, I know well before I was here, but since I've been here, they have been too.
Yeah.
There's no reason why that wouldn't continue. Everybody they take pride, and we keep talking about it's a privilege to be a Clipper, privilege to do things for us, represent our school and our community, and everybody feels part of the success that we have on the field or on the court.
Absolutely. You mentioned 4 years in now, and I remember talking to you when you were hired, because I was doing some of the hockey games for the Clippers at that time when you were brought in here, and I have a feeling that you had a good idea of all those rivalries that we just talked about. Is it more of a rivalry-based league than maybe even you thought? Have you learned a little bit as far as once you're in your position? I mean, this is some really, you're inside those school corridors. You probably hear the chatter from some of the kids of, this disdain or whatever you want to call it for some teams. Maybe even you were a little bit surprised, like, well, they really want to win this game this week, or from probably several different teams.
Yeah, it is obvious. It's unique here in Massachusetts too, because it's so league driven.
Yeah.
And the leagues are regional leagues, so we may have a school like Masco who has 11 or 1,200. In the same league with a school like maybe Rockport with 200.
Yep.
So that's not common in most states. Most states are the leagues or the divisions are formed by enrollment. So in Maine, for example, all the teams in our league had the same enrollment, similar enrollment. Even if the town next to you if they had less enrollment, then you wouldn't play them. Here in Massachusetts, you are playing everybody in your area,
right,
regardless of school size. Sometimes I have to refocus when I do hear those conversations from the athletes about, I want them to keep things in perspective. Yes, we're going out there, we're defending the Clippers and all this, and it's great that that passion's there. So I never want to slow that down.
Yeah. Do you? I mean, that is an interesting point, though. You probably do hear some. Do you ever interject in the corridor and say, "All right, fellas, settle down"?
It
Rarely.
never gets to that level. Our kids are respectful. They are. I mean, they have fun. Like anyone, they push it and see what they can get away with. But they're very passionate and vocal and supportive, and they show that by attending games. And it doesn't matter which sport it is. And our female sports, draw pretty well as well. So, and like I said, girls volleyball, that's one of our better. And we don't charge admission for that, and that's we play at about 5:30, 6 o'clock start times at night after the JV. So. It's a well-supported community. Get in there and check it out. Again, we're talking with Kyle Hodsdon here. He's the Newburyport Athletic Director. Year 4 already, which I know is flying. Is this like flying a plane? You kick into the fall sports season. Before you know it, you're talking about 2019, 2020 season. I mean, it flies by, doesn't it, the school year, especially in your position? Well, it does, because we try to stay 2 seasons ahead. Yeah. So we're starting to schedule for the spring now. So whereas everybody's gearing up for the fall and think it's a new start of a school year, we've already felt that, gone through the winter, and now we're starting into the spring. So there's really no downtime, and our teams have had some great success. So they've gone a little bit longer. So, we go right up until Thanksgiving with football, obviously. Yeah. But our girls soccer team has won the Division II North Championship for the last 2 years. Yeah. So their season has gone deep into November. Are they stacked again, by the way? They have a strong program.
Yeah,
Yes,
always good, right?
Good coaches and a strong program. The kids are committed. They're one of our harder working teams, and they get the results. But
what's in the water with the Newburyport soccer kids? I mean, the girls are just unbelievable.
There's a strong youth program.
It's amazing what coaching and leadership can do.
And a strong youth program.
Program, yeah.
That helps. Good
do
combination.
you keep an eye on that stuff? The youth programs? I mean, how young is too young? Are you looking at fifth graders and going, "Ooh, let's make sure we keep an eye on"?
Yeah, we don't. I don't think we necessarily look at them, but I know our coaches are involved with teaching and providing instruction and maybe coaching the coaches and giving clinics, running summer camps. Many of our youth programs do use our facilities, so I have some communication with them and I see them. I know we're really lucky to have the strong numbers and the leadership with our youth programs.
Right.
Kids come into the middle school and into the high school with skill, with fundamentals, and with a passion to play. So we're a pretty fortunate community.
You know what I always wanted to, I don't think I've had you on the show since this happened at the end of last year. It had nothing to do with even a Cape Ann League school, but it was a fairly local story, and it bugged me like crazy. I mentioned it on like 4 or 5 different shows here, but I don't know if you remember this, the Saugus kids that got in trouble for the lighting the cigars at graduation on the football field, with seemed like coaches and teachers around, and I had a cigar on the field during my graduation. I thought it was accepted, but I think it was one of the sports. I forget which sport. I think it was lacrosse. But the kids got suspended for their playoff game because pictures of the cigars. It drove me crazy. It seemed silly. It seemed innocent, but it happened. A bunch of kids got suspended for their playoff game. A bunch of seniors, their last playoff game, and they'll never see the field again. Drove me crazy. Just curious for your thoughts from an athletic director.
Well, one of the things is enforcing policy.
Yeah.
And being consistent, and whether I agree with what happened or didn't, how could I say, well, that's okay to do that, but somebody takes a picture at a grandfather's birthday party and everybody's smoking a cigar, and so where's the line drawn? Common sense says one thing, the MIA says another. Yeah. So if we knowingly allowed somebody to play, if they broke an MIA policy, then we would be in jeopardy of forfeiting. So I guess it's how you interpret rules. Yeah. Photos make it a little more difficult.
Social media world, right?
There's not much gray area with photos. So I'm sorry that Saugus had to go through that, or anybody had to go through that. That certainly could happen in any community, and I'm glad it didn't happen here.
The stuff like that social media is a whole different world, isn't it? I know that's part of, we've talked about that before, that's part of your opening talk to coaches and players alike, but that is something, you don't put stuff on there that you wouldn't say in real life or wouldn't do in real life, right?
Yeah, we had an incident last year with another community due to that, and it was something that really shouldn't have happened, and it was not good, and it was minor, turned into major, went back to minor because it was ridiculous that it happened. Not that we monitor kids' accounts, but word gets back pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I do get calls from other athletic directors in our community just saying, heads up, this is being said, because if one of our kids sees something from another school, they're going to go to one of us and let us know, and then we would contact the school, and most times that would happen. But hopefully, well, there's so many new, I don't know what's the new one out here now, if there's going to be a new one coming out, but it's hard to monitor.
Absolutely, I would think so. And and you mentioned, you guys are not struggling, but you're getting creative with the puzzle pieces of practice times, especially with the heat. You're back to school. There's only so much time to practice in so many fields, and so much time on the good fields a lot of times, or not the good fields, but the main fields that you're going to play on, the big field, usually the stadium. I wonder what your thought is on a lot of talk about letting the kids sleep in these days and get the later start times. That seems to be like a statewide talk, and it seems like every sports coach I talk to says, no, that's just going to cut in even more in the afternoon to practice time. And so coaches seem to almost universally hate that idea. I would think the athletic director... As we shorten the day towards the evening, obviously our playing time reduces. We have one field that has lights, and we can only use that so much. Yeah.
So if we did end school later, we would have issues with our field a year from being finished, Cherry Hill was our field at the time that we were going to. The Fuller track was just starting to be demolished, so everybody was sharing space. Now, every team could practice at the same time on their own facility.
Wow.
So we're pretty fortunate that way.
That's great.
It would be nice if everything was on campus together.
Yeah.
You know, but we're really lucky, I mean, compared to where we were just 4 years ago.
Yeah, there's only so much room. You guys actually, that first year, you played all your football games on the road, right? Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah, correct. Football was on the road. Soccer was at Cherry Hill. Nothing happened at the stadium.
Yeah, I remember you were very proud of your seniors that year, if I remember correctly, because that's not an easy thing to do. You know, you dream about those Friday night lights and your senior year and those final games, and a lot of those kids didn't get that chance, but you guys had a really strong team that year. I remember you were pretty happy with that group and how they handled that all.
Yeah, and they were able to play at Stalen Field on Thanksgiving against Amesbury.
Yeah.
And we won 36-34 in overtime.
A great game. I was down on the field for that.
You know, on a trick play, and you know, I was real happy for the seniors and Coach Gaudiano, his last game here.
He kept that from me. I think you knew, but I interviewed him before that game on the field, and he didn't say a word about that being his last game.
Yeah, he let the kids know just before that.
Yeah.
And, it's really tough to play road games, especially in football, and never get to experience that. So that was a great highlight. Was really happy for that group of kids, and we've that's propelled us in the next couple of years, and we've been consistent and competitive.
Absolutely. And lastly, again, Kyle Hodsdon, Newburyport Athletic Director. The one thing that I have pretty much across the board noticed, and you know, here as the summer's been winding down, a lot of our shows here recently have kind of been gearing up for fall sports, and I've had a lot of your kids in. And one thing that I've really noticed is almost unanimously, all these kids, they're having like fun with these sports, and it's like these teams seem very, very close. I was hearing about pasta parties that are just unbelievable. You know, staying there too late, parents have to kick people out because the kids are enjoying so much time together. It just seems like a good group of high school athletes this year, and maybe you've been lucky with that your whole 4 years. I don't know, but this seems like an especially fun group this year, enjoying being out there and playing Newburyport sports, which I know you must like.
Yeah, we have great kids here, and they're committed, they're passionate. We have great coaches, like I said earlier, and one of our goals, obviously, if we asked all of our coaches, what's your goal? What are your goals this year? You know, there's going to be championships listed. There's going to be beaten rivals listed. You know, but the one thing I would like to see every athlete take with them when they leave our program is to have a good experience. You know, there are other, yes, the winning and all that goes with it too. But you know, they're going to take away their experience, their friendships, their leadership, the things that they're learning, relying on teammates and so forth. So, and that's part of it. This is like an extension of our academic day.
Yep.
And with 466 of 785 right now participating, we might make it another academic block because almost all of our kids are playing.
Yeah.
That would be a great way to solve practice times. But they're great kids, and you know, when 2:21, when the bell rings, the halls are flooded, and it's just, there's a lot of people like anxious to get out to their practices. And,
nice.
You know, a lot of hard work going in.
Nothing brings a smile to an AD like that, right?
That's right.
Well, Kyle Hodgson, I know you got a busy week. Games start tomorrow, so it was very nice of you, as always, to carve out a little time for us here on the show and jump in for a bit. I know you got a lot of work to. You're probably heading right back to the school, if I had to guess, right?
Yes, I am.
Appreciate it very much. Always a pleasure, and have a great fall sports season. All right.
Thanks for having me on anytime.
Absolutely. Kyle Hodgson, he's the athletic director over at Newburyport. Big week ahead. Games start tomorrow. You got football at the end of the week on Friday, kind of capping off a busy first week, and then we're off and running for the whole year. So Kyle Hodsdon, athletic director at Newburyport, always a pleasure. We'll be back to finish strong here in just a moment. Keep it here. It is Afternoon Drive on Joppa Radio.
Looking on the bed alone, but trying to find a piece of paradise. Search for something more, something high, something that'll keep us alive. Sing your head, yeah. It's you who decide how you feel, what's your state of mind.
this is Kyle Hodsdon from Newburyport High School, and you're listening to WJOP-LP Newburyport, Joppa Radio 96.3 FM.
Looking on the Babylon, we're trying to find a piece of paradise. Search for something more, something high, something that'll keep us alive. Looking on the Babylon, we're trying to find a piece of paradise. Something high, something that'll keep us alive. We're all looking on the Babylon, we're trying to find a piece of paradise. Search for something more, something high, something that'll keep us alive.
Sunday morning and I'm wondering where you are. I always thought that we would make it this far. One day we'd roll over and say to each other, whoa, whoa. Remember that night we were in the fountain lawn. We got all soaking wet and then we went home. Nothing in the whole world could ever have gone wrong. Whoa, whoa. Down by the riverside, under starlight, I wish the band would play all night long in that Mississippi moon. Shine on. You were the last one that I laid eyes on before I got in my car, never to come home. We said if we turned 30 and we were still alone. Whoa, whoa. Daybreak broke up the night skies. I head out on the road. I think I found myself a home a little farther south than I believe. You know, I never thought I'd hear my voice singing these country harmonies, but Alabama took me by surprise, kinda swept me off my feet. Little smile, a little tear in his eye, a little love song sung off key, 'cause Alabama shines. And it's plainly clear to see it's the last stop on the line. I'll never say goodbye. Alabama's home to me. I get reminded of the things I miss when New England calls. When's our baby coming home to stay? Or is she coming home at all? But I found a heart that's just so warm, and I really love this life. Can't you hear my little southern drawl? It peeks out from time to time, 'cause Alabama shines. And it's plainly clear to see it's the last stop on the line. I'll never say goodbye. Alabama's home to me. place for a northern girl. At least that's what I'm told. I came looking for a friendly face. Now I stay for the hand I hold, 'cause Alabama shines, and it's plainly clear to see it's the last stop on the line. I'll never say goodbye. Alabama's home to me. It's the last stop on the line. Alabama's home to me.
All right, welcome on back to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Hope you're having a good Tuesday afternoon here. Do I want to tease who we have for Thursday? I'm going to wait, actually. Well, it'll be on the theater and arts side. There's your tease for Thursday afternoon. This Thursday, 3 o'clock. Theater, arts, fireside. There's another tease. So there you go. For those of you interested in that. I won't give it all away, but there's a little tease for you. Again, my name is Drew Moholland. Thanks for tuning in. Big thanks to Kyle Hodsdon today. Newburyport starts up their sports schedule tomorrow. Games tomorrow, football at the end of the week. So it was good to have Kyle Hodsdon, and he's a busy man. It was nice to see him. Tyler Neufeld is our radio producer today, and here's our producer's minute. Hello, Tyler. I took that. I didn't put the camera on you until you waved. Do the wave again. It was a good wave. You had a good... Oh, it was better the first time. It was much better the first time. Now it's forced. Now it's weird. How are you, bud?
I'm good.
Good. That was a good job scrambling today. We had some camera issues there at the beginning, which doesn't usually happen. We haven't had too many camera issues since these new guys were installed.
No.
But something a little technically, and we had you ran to the backup plan as David worked on the regular cameras, and backup plan worked for a little bit. Then we had the regular cameras going. Good teamwork.
Yeah, I mean, David pulled through there. I think it was an IP thing, but I'm not sure because David had to leave, so I didn't get to ask him yet.
It doesn't really matter, but it
worked now.
So what's new in the world of Tyler today, this week, whatever?
So over Labor Day weekend, I climbed Mount Washington.
Yay!
It was good.
Very good. That's exciting.
Yeah, I had my friend come up from, what county is he? Putnam County, New York.
Oh, okay.
And
where's that?
It's about like 45 minutes. Well, he's in like a place called Mayapack.
45 outside of Manhattan.
Yeah. Well, like outside, no, not out of Manhattan. That'd be close. That'd be like Westchester.
Oh.
Like 45 minutes outside of like the Bronx.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm still tired from it.
Still tired from the hike.
We went up. So
how long did it take you?
7 hours round trip. Like that includes the break at the hut and stopping at the summit.
Yeah. How much you stay up top for?
Like 25 minutes.
25 minutes. Big hiker? I didn't know this about you.
I like hiking. I've done a few. I hiked a mountain. I hiked down a mountain actually in Germany when I was 16.
Just down?
Well, we took like a gondola up.
Oh.
And then we went in a mine.
Now that is hiking right there.
Yeah. Took a gondola up, went in like a mine, came out of the mine, then hiked down, and then I did I forget the main peak. There's 3 peaks, and one of them was called Turtleback. Then I did Mount Chikura last summer, and then I did.
Nice.
And I've done a thing called Breakneck, which is in the Hudson River Valley.
Okay. Cool.
It's very small, but it's really nice.
We did a couple of weeks ago. I hiked Shawnee Peak, which is just near my place in Maine, and you can see Mount Washington from it's kind of a nice view and a nice. It doesn't even have to be that clear. You can see it really almost any day.
It's tall
up there. It's a big mountain up there. Huh?
Hard to miss.
Yeah, it's probably about as hot as it gets up there, I would guess, because it has been really hot here for like the last few weeks. Usually that's the place that like has the snow for a little while into the, when we're getting warm. There's still some snow usually at the top of Mount Washington, but not this time of year.
No, it was, we lucked out because it was going to rain on Sunday. And then the last few days of...
Did you go Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to be washed. We couldn't do it. And then, the forecast changed.
Gotcha.
But it was ideal weather. It was like 75 going up. And then when we got to the top, it was like 55.
Yep.
So it was really comfy.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah, if we went yesterday, it would have been awful. It was like 95 out.
Yeah, that's tough hiking weather. I like to bring the dog. My dog does good with the hiking.
A lot of dogs on there.
Yeah, well, it's because you can let it. You don't have to worry about the streets or anything. Just kind of let them go up and just don't run away.
I mean, Mount Washington, like all the other hikes I've ever done, there's been a bunch and just listed all of them.
Yeah,
they've all been pretty like barren in terms of like how many people have been there. Like,
yeah.
If you see like 10 people, that's a lot. There was about like 300 or 400 people on the summit.
Wow.
It was a 20-minute line to get a photo with
No way.
the summit photo. Yeah.
I've never heard of that. Well, it's probably regular there, but
Yeah, I mean, they have like the railway to get up there, and then you can drive up. But even going up the trails, probably saw like 60, 70 people.
wow. Traffic on the trails.
Busy. And then you look at the neighboring mountains, and there's like maybe 3 people on them.
Wow.
Everyone wants Mount Washington.
I guess, yeah.
I'm equally as guilty.
Yeah, it's a nice fall activity. I like the fall. I think I'm going to go ahead and say fall is my favorite season. The only bad thing about fall is that winter follows right behind it, and nobody loves that cold. But fall, it's you got the pumpkin coffees. You got the you can put on you can kind of control your temperature, just a little sweatshirt, and things are good. It's nothing football. I like the football. It's all good.
Yeah, it's a good time. I mean, I hated it when I was a kid because
Back to school.
Back to school.
Oh, yeah, you're so right. It's funny how that has completely changed, the whole non-back to school thing. Not that I hated school, but it was just summer was cooler.
Well, yeah, I mean, you didn't have to get up early.
Yeah.
I know you're just talking about delayed start times, and I would have appreciated that.
You would have appreciated that.
Oh, my
It
God.
feels like most kids. I mean, I would have appreciated it too in high school, but it's funny. It's like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. They're probably right. If the studies show that kids work better when they sleep in, that's one thing. But I mean, eventually you're gonna, as you yawn, that's well-timed yawn again there, Tyler.
Sorry, I'm tired. I still benefit from.
But I mean, you sleep it. Eventually, you're gonna get into the real world, and college. I don't know. I feel like morning's like the best time of day. I'm like a morning person now.
I mean, maybe I'll.
I like
shift
watching the sunrise. I like having my coffee. I play golf. I like being out there before anybody. I like hitting the roads before anybody and no traffic. You don't even know what it's like. I don't really even know what traffic's like around here. I go to work before everybody.
I mean, traffic in Newburyport's not that bad, but
Yeah. Well, hey Tyler, get outside of Newburyport. Then go to Boston at 7:00 tomorrow morning. See how you like the traffic.
I've done that a few times.
See? Yeah. Who wants to deal with that? Get up early. Get a coffee.
No, I mean, like to beat traffic for that, you gotta get up real early. Like,
If you're out of the house at 5, you're good.
yeah, that's early.
That
That's
is
what
so-
I got up at 5 to go hike Mount Washington, and we got out of the house at 5:30.
That's halfway through my normal radio shift.
Yeah, like this is. I get.
It's
you
a
just
different
said,
world.
It's just such a pet peeve. I'm gonna go off. I'm sorry. I'll rein it in, but I just I can never take it when people are like, oh, the real world, you got to get up early. And I'm like, I'm not in the real world yet. Like,
You are a musician. You're kind of the opposite of the.
yeah, I mean, I'll get up when I have to, but if we can make it a bit later, why would you not do it? I don't know. And a lot of the thing, like in school, they'd always say like this is preparation for the real world, and I'm still not in the real world. I'm like, yeah, a little bit, but you get, or like this is for college. Like this happens in college. You get to college, and it's nothing like what they say.
Yeah, college is almost worst. Actually, you can really stack your schedules. So
You can do whatever you want, and then, professors, you go up to them like, I don't have this done. Like that's fine.
Yeah. Well, some of them. Let's not tell the kids not to do their work, Tyler.
No. I mean, you don't go up to them and not do it, unless like you really know. What you do is this is great advice. Go up to them like a day or two before it's due, and you ask them for an extension, and they give it to you usually.
Yes, they usually do actually. If they think you're genuine.
Yeah, and then you actually put work in.
Yeah.
But
And you've taken the time to give them a heads up. They appreciate that, I find.
yeah, I mean, only a few people. I had one professor that graded. Oh my God, she had 3 classes in a row, and there's about 35 kids in each class, and she graded our midterms in between classes, and so she did 105 midterms within less than 3 days.
Yikes.
And they were like, "Do you remember the little books?
Yeah.
Do you have like the blue books or the
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
color?" Yeah.
Wow. The blue books, man.
105 of those.
That's
within
like
3 days.
You just had like a flashback right there with those blue books. Jeez. They still have those?
Yeah, they do. Sometimes they're green, sometimes they're yellow, but
My goodness.
it's still there.
Unbelievable. Wow. Yeah. I can picture them clearly. The 3 lines in the front, your name.
Yep, the name of the school, class section.
Too funny. All right. Well, there you go. We covered a lot of ground. School start times. You say let the kids sleep in.
Yeah, I mean, I knew kids that would fall asleep in school, and other kids would be late because they just couldn't wake
We
up.
all used to do that. But I think even if you started at 9, you'd see that. Kids would just take advantage of it on the other end. That's my thought.
I mean, you're gonna have kids take advantage of it.
You screw up daycare for the parents. You screw up the sports.
I think it's worth it though, because like,
You get to sleep.
I realized it. Like, I was perpetually tired in school, and I couldn't focus.
All right.
And there were kids that they'd just, pass out. And they get yelled at. They're like, why are you not going to bed? I'm like, well, I get up early. I'm in school. I pay attention. I have sports afterwards. I have to go home. I have to eat. Then I do homework. And then, like, maybe I want to do something somewhat social, just something of my own, and then I go to bed. And then do it 5 days in a row. And then you've got a lot of sports, Saturdays and stuff, Saturday practice. I think it's, I don't know, they blame kids too much.
Interesting. Well, yeah. You made a good case there, I think. That was a very well thought out case. Yeah. That's not the first time you've answered that question, is it?
No.
A lot of dinner table talk?
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you. It's always interesting to see where these conversations with Tyler go to end our show. Thank you, sir. Good hustle again today. We'll see you Thursday?
Yep.
Back Thursday?
I'll be there.
Again, we got a little artsy program here, so Tyler always enjoys those.
I do.
So we'll do that Thursday. That's a little bit of the tease for you. I'm not telling you exactly who the guest is, but he's already booked. My name is Drew Moholland. Thursday, 3 p.m. We'll do it all over again right here, same time, same place. Big thanks, Tyler Neufeld, producer. On the radio side, David Kramer. Excellent hustle today on the TV side. Dale went through some issues right at the beginning, but quickly got them fixed. We appreciate it. David, don't forget, Joppa Afternoons is the Twitter account. My name is Drew Moholland. This has been Afternoon Drive. Bye-bye now.
And winter comes. WJOP LP Newburyport, Joppa Radio 96.3 FM.
Joppa Radio 96.3 FM would like you to know the Boys and Girls Club of the Lower Merrimack Valley in Salisbury offers education and health programs, sports and recreation, and after-school enrichment programs. See bglmv.org for details.